All right, good evening. Come on, you guys can do better than that. Good evening, guys. Good evening. All right. Well, welcome to our first annual Soaring IB, our IB program. Thank you, parents, for taking the time out of your busy life on a weekday to come and join us and learn more about our IB program. For those of you who don't know, my name is Paul Nguyen. I'm the president here at San Jacinto Valley Academy. I've been here for 16 years. And prior to this, I actually was a high school IB math teacher for many years before that. I am a product of AP. Right? So those of you who know about AP, Advanced Placement, raise your hand. Yeah, that's very common, right? I'm not that old, I'm only 20-something. But if you're as old as I am, you know a lot about AP, right? Not a whole lot of people know about IB at the time. So I was a product of AP. So when I first became a teacher, a math teacher, all I knew was I wanted to be an AP calculus teacher. Right? As a math teacher, that's your ultimate goal, is to teach AP calculus. Right? And I was pushing for it. I didn't understand much about the IB program at all. My first teaching job was an IB diploma school. It was actually an IB MYP, which is the Mirror Year program, and DP, which is the diploma program. So here at SJVA, we have the DP program, which is the diploma. Honestly, as an educator, ever since I attended the first IB training, I was sold. I was sold not because I was teaching. I was sold because I believe in this philosophy as a whole child. Okay? IB, talking about international mindedness, it creates a well-rounded child, a well-rounded student. And it's actually created a well-rounded educator for myself. Right? So I don't want to take time away from my staff and my IB coordinator, but as a parent, I don't know if my kids even have a choice whether to do IB or not IB. It's not about the grade, it's about what it stands for. And truly, if students go through the full IB program for 2 years, it would change the way they think for the better. Right? So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our IB coordinator, Ms. Samantha Lazier. Come on up.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to celebrate and show your interest in our IB program. My name is Samantha Lazier, and I work here at SJVA for almost 10 years now. I've been the IB coordinator. This is my second year. And I just love it here. I love the family we have here. I love all my staff and all of the students as well. I also want to take a moment to thank the crew. A lot of people work together to pull this off. The IT department, our film department, our maintenance department, the business department, audio. I also want to thank all of the teachers and all of the students and family and friends who have supported us all in this adventure. And a special thank you to Mr. Nguyen for making IB possible at SJVA. So thank you. Just really quickly, here's our agenda. We're going to have a little bit of time for our teachers and for me to talk about the program. Then we'll have some booth interaction where you guys can mingle around even more and learn about each of the specific content. And then we'll come back up and hear from some current students and graduates. Okay, so first of all, I am here and I love this job because I very much believe in the education that our IB provides our students. And I am passionate about making it accessible to all of the students at our SJVA family. One of the keys to success is knowing what is to come and how we can prepare for the big decisions that we have coming up. So the purpose today is to figure out what is the IBDP program, who can enroll, and how can students be successful. So why IB? There's a lot of information here, but this is just good education. I think it is premium education. Our students graduate with a college-level education, globally minded empathy, and most of all, an everlasting bond through their collaborative experiences. Another thing, college. Our students have better success at getting into the colleges of their choice and also a higher chance of succeeding in completing their goals after they leave SJVA. Here's just a little bit of data showing you that our DP graduates have such a high rate of getting into college and staying in college. 10 reasons why. I'm not going to read all of this, but some of the key points here is it's more than just exams. It's a whole experience, a whole collaborative and culminating experience that they can take with them for the rest of their life. It builds confidence, it builds independence, they turn into critical thinkers, and they build skills like time management. All of these things that are going to help them forever after they leave SJVA. So what is an IB education? IB education includes learner profiles such as inquirers, risk takers, communicators, all of these things weaved in through how the teachers teach, our approaches to teaching, and how the students learn, the approaches to learning. We like to think that our IB program is high-level education, accessible to all, very experiential learning, global citizenship, and student-centered and inquiry-based. And if you read the SJVA mission and vision statement, it very much matches up with the IB statements and vision as well. This is a great graphic that kind of shows you everything that is in the IB program. In the middle, you'll see the approaches to teaching and approaches to learning. This is the how the teachers are teaching and how the students are learning. Outside of that, you have theory of knowledge, extended essay, and the creativity, activity, and service. You'll learn a little bit more about these things from one of our teachers, but this is kind of the further than just the content education. It's the more experiential part of the program. Outside of that, you'll see the different content base. So you have your science, your math, your art, your history, your language, and English. So these are the different content classes that they will take. Okay, so a little bit about what exactly it is. So at SJVA, there is 6 subjects that they will take, which you saw on the last slide. At least 3 of them have to be HL, and 3 of them will be SL. HL stands for higher level, and SL is standard level. So this just tells you kind of the rigor of each of the courses. The way that IB is graded is they actually can get from 0 to 7 out of each of their classes. So it's graded a little bit differently than a regular class. To achieve the full diploma, they have to get a minimum grade of only 2 in each of their subjects. So for every subject, they have to at least get a 2 out of 7, which is very, very doable for all students. They have to get at least 24 points out of 45, and at least 12 of those have to be from HL and 9 from SL. So this is just a little bit more of like the minutia of exactly what is going on in these classes. All right, the core components. As I mentioned earlier, this is their extended essay, their theory of knowledge, and what's called creativity, activity, and service. And so you will get a lot more information about that coming soon. And then just back to the grading and assessment, they can get anywhere from 1 to 7, and they have to get at least 24 altogether to get the full diploma. Now you keep hearing me say full diploma and DP. So full diploma means that they're doing all of the IB classes and all of the core subjects and everything that IB has to offer. That is not the only option though. Students can take just certain classes if they choose to. But our job here is to support any of our students to take whatever version of IB that they would like to. Remember, this is accessible to all students. So anybody who wants to jump into the IB program, we welcome you. Okay, here's just a little bit of data from our last 2 years. We've had IB here at SGV for many years. This is just kind of showing you how many candidates we've had for the last 2 years and how many of them passed with the full diploma and their grades. So just a little bit of background data and information. Okay, now for the fun part. Who is IB? So here at SJVA, we have a wonderful IB teaching staff. They are amazing. So we have listed them here. And each one of these teachers is going to come up and tell you a little bit about their course. And then we'll break out into mingling time and you can ask us further questions if you have any. So I will get started. Sorry. Okay. So I am not only the IB coordinator, but I also teach IB biology. That is my love. So here's some information about my course. But to tell you about IB biology, this is a class where students get to explore and learn about the natural world around them. Through guided and independent investigations, database questions, and experiences out in the field, they gain an understanding and appreciation for biology, from a microscopic lens to a macroscopic view. Let me ask you, have you ever wondered how your body knows how and when to produce insulin only when needed to allow the glucose from the Snickers we just ate to get into your cells? I know you have. And so in the first year, we focus on how the tiniest of molecules and organelles in our cells work together to accomplish this amazing feat, these amazing microscopic factories that run our bodies. Let me ask you another question. Have you ever wondered why the disappearance of our sea otters caused a huge decline in the health of our kelp forests on the California coast? Well, in the second year, we zoom out to explore the complex interactions that help our planet thrive and all of the diverse organisms from the plankton in the ocean all the way to the huge elephants that roam the African plains. Teaching biology is truly my passion, and my goal is to spark that passion in all of my students. Thank you. All right. Next up is our history teacher, Mr. Hutchinson.
All right, good evening, guys. My name is Mr. Hutchinson. I teach IB History HL1, HL2. It's a 2-year program, so that's year 1 and year 2. I know Mrs. Azier had some questions for you guys, but I have a question for you as well. I want to know, why do you think that we use our cell phones? Actually, I think I'm more appropriate is, why can't we stop using our cell phones? Okay, so really, it's like a class. I want you actually to talk to your shoulder partner, whoever's sitting next to you, and I want you to talk about why you think that we use our smartphones, okay? I'm gonna give you like 10 seconds, and I'm gonna call on one of you guys, so you gotta be ready. Oh, no, I'm not hearing enough. I see Keanu, he's coming up, okay. Stronger. Who's it gonna be? Who am I gonna pick? I wish I had equity cards so I could call on one of you guys. Okay, so guys, really quickly, I am really curious about your answers, but I want to argue that I have an answer to this question, okay? I believe that I would like to argue that we are obsessed with our cell phones because of the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914. Okay? And I'm going to take you on this journey with me, and we're going to connect the dots, okay? Because that's what history is all about. Okay, let me explain how the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand connects to the device that you hold in your hand all the time. So, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, he is the heir apparent to the Austrian-Hungarian throne, and he's assassinated in 1914, and it's going to set up a chain of events that leads to the First World War, okay? World War I is going to disrupt empires, it's going to reshape borders, and it's going to create a critical need for faster communication. Hopefully you're seeing where I'm going. Faster communication for battles, right? And in fact, just passive communication between allies. Before the Great War, there are telegraphs and radios that were already in use, but this conflict is definitely going to push the development and expansion of these technologies to new heights, right? We're soaring into IB. After World War I, we are soaring into smartphones, right? Nations invested heavily in improving their ability to communicate quickly and securely, and this need for technological advancement is going to lay the groundwork for future innovations such like my outdated iPhone. I don't even know what model this is. My students make fun. They always say, Mr. Hudson, you still have a button on your iPhone. Like, don't make fun of me, right? You should be surprised I actually can use it. Okay. One of the inevitable consequences of World War I is going to be, what do you guys think? World War I leads to what? Yes, Zach. World War II, very good. Okay, World War II is going to cause, guess what, even more rapid technological progress. And by the end of the Second World War, humanity is going to enter into a new era of innovation. Hopefully you guys are tracking with me. Geopolitical tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union are going to lead to, Zach? The Cold War! Look, we got these future IB students, IB history students who are already teaching the class. I love it. I forgot, this is what I was supposed to show you guys. Hopefully we don't have any sensitive people in here. That is an artist depiction of the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. All right, that's where we're going, guys, if you can track my crazy argument. Okay, so Zach said that the US and the Soviet Union are entering into a Cold War, and both nations are going to compete to prove which one has the better political and economic system. And as a result of their competition, we're going to get satellite technology, and then we're going to try to, yes, the space race, very good, Seth. We are going to try to compete for military and space exploration purposes, and it's going to lay the groundwork for, guess what? Well, yeah, that too, but also global communication networks. Hopefully you guys are tracking with where I'm going. These advancements don't stop with the Cold War, the development of computers, and really it's going to be developed during World War II, but it's going to transform how information is processed and shared, right? And the computers are going to become smaller and smaller. Maybe you guys I can remember the first computer I had in my home. It's all big and clunky, right? And now they're just these little tiny touchscreen things. But these computers are going to become smaller and more powerful and more accessible, and it's going to lead to personal computers in the home by the late 20th century. The evolution continued with the creation of mobile phones. So if you can see on my picture here, how many of you guys had like some of these cell phones? I think some, yeah. I think I started off with that Nokia one, like the third one. That's what my first cell phone was. The evolution is going to start with mobile phones, and mobile phones emerged in the late 20th century and eventually evolved into our smartphones. Okay? So now, if you're anything like me and you find yourself preoccupied with your smartphone, you can go ahead and thank the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand for that, right? Yes? Did you guys see my argument? Okay, very good, very good. So that's super silly, Mr. Hutchinson. Why would you even create that argument that's totally lame and maybe even historically inaccurate? But what I want you guys to think is that really history, or the study of history, isn't just about memorizing dates and facts and people and all that stuff. It's about asking the right questions. It's about analyzing evidence. It's about making connections and taking risks. Risk taker is one of our IB learner profiles. And it's about defending your arguments. By the way, my booth is right over there where Soleil Mena is. And if you disagree with me about my reasoning for why Archduke Franz Ferdinand's assassination led to my cell phone addiction, you guys are addicted to your cell phones, but you can go ahead and you can argue with me over there. By studying history, students are going to gain insight into the world and the way that it is today. I want my students to ask these types of questions. Why am I sitting here at this campus getting an education? Why am I turning on my TV and I'm seeing the events in current times, right? How do I make that connection from what is happening right now, even if it's my own personal life or the lives of those around me or my nation? How can I make the connection between that and what happened in the past? IB History challenges students to consider different viewpoints and understand the complexity of human actions and motivations. We do that through chronological understanding. You can take a look at the slide here. Source evaluation, setting things in their context, which is what we do with that chart there. It says key concepts. I'm going to challenge some of you guys to come up and visit me and try to think of how different historical events are caused, what their consequences are, what the significance are. So come visit me and do that. Because I want you to know that anybody can think like an historian. I want our students to know that they can think like historians. Okay? And if you have any questions, come visit me over in the back. Thank you guys very much. And I think we got Mrs. Hudson. Come on up.
I'm Mrs. Hudson. This is my, I think, 6th year teaching at SJVA, my 3rd or 4th year, I think 3rd year teaching IB math. And as you can see on the slide, I put the full title of our math class. It's called IB Math Applications and Interpretations. And I feel it's important to emphasize the full name, because the biggest question we get asked as math teachers all the time, any math teacher will tell you, is when are we ever going to use this in our lives? Or how is this applicable to the real world around us? Why does this matter? And that's what this IB course is all about. It really focuses on the applications. It wants students to know how the math concepts they're learning are applicable to the real world. It aims to emphasize the meaning of math in context by focusing on applications and situations that are used in mathematical modeling. Mrs. Lazier talked about how IB is designed to be accessible to everybody, and IB math really is accessible to everybody, no matter what they think their math level is currently or not. Some people say that they prefer algebra over geometry, or they're good at geometry and not statistics, or they're good at statistics and not calculus. And IB math has a little bit of everything. We study algebra, functions, geometry, trigonometry, statistics, and even an introduction into calculus, which sounds like a lot of math to cover in 1 year. IB math is a 1-year course, but it's really not. Majority of what we cover, students have already learned in Math 2 and Math 3. Really, IB math is just focusing on the emphasis of how that math they've already learned is applicable to the world. So instead of learning a bunch of new math, we really take the time to deepen students' understanding of what they already know. Instead of being focused on specific steps of calculation, students sometimes get lost in the steps of how do we get from here to here. IB math kind of looks at math as a whole. It's more how can we approach this problem and figure out a solution than what are all the specific steps we took to get there. We use graphing calculators a lot in the class to help cut out some of that manual calculation so we could really focus on, we got this answer, now what does it mean? How can we use this to help deepen our understanding of the topic? So we really focus on problem solving, critical thinking, and application. We're learning more than just calculations in the class. We're learning skills that can help students be successful beyond the classroom. They're building skills that help them look at problems and figure out solutions. They're learning to think critically and problem solve. They're learning how to be clear and concise in their communication and reasoning. They get credit for being able to explain why this is what it is and how this helps apply to some greater knowledge. And so being clear and concise in what this means and why it means that. And they're learning how to justify their conclusions, not just this is the answer because it's the answer, but why is the answer? How did we get there? What does it tell us about the bigger picture? And so the class is really for anybody, no matter your level of perceived mathematical skill. Anybody can succeed. The coolest part, I think, I don't know if students agree with me, but I think the coolest part about the IB math course is the internal assessment we do. It's a math exploration. Students get to choose any topic they want. I've seen it done on things from baking to video games to population growth to sports formations, really anything students find interesting. And they use the math we've learned in class to look at it through a different lens to really deepen their understanding of that topic and how math can help them understand it better. So you don't have to think you're good at math, but you could still be successful in IB math. Next up is Miss Algebra. Jeez, I'm so noisy.
Buenos días, ¿cómo están?
Muy bien.
Bueno, buenos días, buenas tardes. Bueno, voy a hacer mi speech en español para que todos entiendan, ¿sí? ¿Sí? No? All right, I will go ahead and speak in English. So in class, we will be speaking Spanish. In Spanish IB, I do speak 100% in Spanish. And as we going towards our classes, because we teach Spanish 1, 2, and 3, we gradually start from 50-50 to all the way almost, I would say, 75% in Spanish 3. Everything is shown in PowerPoints, there's pictures, I explain. So at the end of the day, my students do understand what they're reading, what they're listening, and what they're actually going to be speaking. I am the Spanish IB teacher. I've been teaching here for about, well, in total 5 years. I ended up leaving for a year, but I came back. And this is my 3rd year teaching Spanish IB. I love it. It's one of my favorite courses. I feel like I can express myself a little bit more. I love speaking Spanish, and it's great. One of the things that we've actually started as a Spanish department, we changed our curriculum. This is our 1st year with a brand new curriculum and emphasizing culture. Specifically, everything has to do with culture, and then Spanish, right? So normally before in the classes, in the other curriculum, it was grammar based. It was very difficult for students to understand a lot of the culture, what's happening out there. So in Spanish IB, we learn a lot of things. Let me pass this, I should be doing this. We learn how to read and write, and it's in an advanced level. Just because you don't speak it doesn't mean you cannot come to my Spanish class. I have students whose parents don't speak Spanish, and they're in my class speaking Spanish. Okay, so as long as my students are putting the effort, you will do very well in my class. I lost my train of thought. Going back to Mr. Hutchinson, there is actually a phenomenon. It's actually called nomophobia, the separation of your cell phone. Did you guys know that? We actually learned that today in Spanish IB. It is one of the things we're actually targeting today. We're doing human ingenuity, and of course, what's one of the most amazing advances that we have is our cell phone, right? Smartphones. I started with which I thought it was really cool, with my little flip and my little antenna, right? How many of you started with those? I thought it was pretty cool. Now it's a computer. Our phone does everything, right? What did I do? Did I touch something I'm not supposed to? Nope. Okay, I probably did. We will go through a lot of things, identity, experience, and some of the things that we do is exploring the topics such as beauty. What is beauty? You know? And then we compare beauty here in the United States, and we compare beauty in Brazil, other countries, and because it is a Spanish course, it has to go back to a Spanish country. So then we go into comparing beauty in Mexico, in Costa Rica, in Guatemala, right? So the students end up learning, what is beauty, right? In our country, in South America, in Central America, and Europe, right? And they get to compare it. We go in experiences, human ingenuity, which we talked about the cell phone, nomophobia, right? And then social organization and sharing the planet. The awesome thing is also that all these themes are embedded in some of your other courses. So you're not only learning in my class, you're learning a lot of this stuff in other courses. The only difference is you're doing it in Spanish. So as far as the exam, it will be a total of 4 exams. You have the internal exam, which is your oral presentation. You will meet with me and you'll do one-on-one. You'll talk for 15 minutes. So it's broken down. You do a 5-minute presentation alone, and then I'll ask questions, answer, and for the next 10 minutes. Okay? We do practice that from the beginning of the class. Every single class period, we are speaking, we're trying, they record themselves, and then we assess them, right? We also have paper 1, which is the writing portion. Then we have paper 2, the listening and the reading. Again, everything is done in classroom. So for the nomophobia, for the article, they read an article, they had reading comprehension, and then today they did an ad. They created an ad of what is nomophobia, explaining to someone else what are the symptoms. It's an addiction. Kids cannot leave their phone, and if they do, they start going into all these withdrawals. It's pretty crazy. So don't be afraid to take IB courses. Please, do not be afraid. You have all these amazing teachers that will be there for you 110%. Now, if you decide not to take any IB, like full IB, please take Spanish IB. Please. It's going to help you, not only in my class, it's going to help you in your future. You need to be bilingual, and if you're already bilingual, then you'll even be better, a better bilingual person, right? It's amazing. Please join, have fun in that class, be there. I mean, we're always there. We will support you 110%. I'm always in room 49, and you can just come and say hi if you want. Okay, so I'll see you guys there. Our next amazing teacher, theater, Mr.
Theater means man in action. And this can encompass really anything. We get the idea in America, theater, it's all about entertainment and it's all about acting. But study of worldwide theater may lead you to believe, or lead you to see that so many different aspects of theater, some which have nothing to do with entertainment. Some of these things can be people getting together at midnight, going out to a field and doing a dance without an audience, just a dance because they believe that will make the crops grow. Some will do puppet shows in order to teach things. Some are for religious purposes. And IB Theater is a study of theater all around the world. It's a study of people. It's hearing their stories. It's seeing how these people are, how they communicate with each other. And many people get nervous to take this class a little bit. They think, oh man, I gotta go up there and I gotta do acting and I'm nervous about it. And you would be surprised at how, I guess, the balance of acting versus the book work and everything else. I would say there's maybe 20-30% acting and lots more research and lots more discussion and lots more studying other people's type of theater. We've got 4 assessments that we do. A research presentation, which is choosing a theater tradition from somewhere around the world, looking at it and exploring it. A collaborative project. This is a very fun one. This is where you get to write your own script in a group with the class. You act it out yourselves, you direct it yourselves, you can put the set together yourselves, costume it yourself, and you videotape it. That is the assessment. You write a little bit of an essay about how it went, but that's usually a very, very, very fun project to do. We're right in the midst of doing that. This year's junior class is doing it right now, and next week we'll be going out and filming that. They've been working on it for about the last 8 weeks or so, and we're really excited to see what they do with it. The solo project. This is researching a theater theorist. What is a theater theorist? It's somebody who has a theory about how theater should be. And everybody's got an opinion on how theater should be. Some people I think theater should be realistic. I think that when you get up there, you need to cry real tears, and make the audience weep. And another person may say, I don't want to make the audience weep. Life is sad enough. I want to do something funny. I want to do comedy. And somebody else may say, I get enough of real life. In real life, I want to do something with fantasy. I want to use puppets. I want to, all sorts of theater theorists. There is something for everybody. Everybody's got an idea. So many to pick from, and you study one of them and kind of do a report on them. It's a super interesting one. And the production proposal, this is one that I really like. You get to choose a play and a piece of theater, and you get to dissect it. You get to like pretend that you're the director and put this thing on however you want. You don't actually have to direct it. You just have to act it out. Not act it out. You have to write about how you would direct it, how you would have the actors go in, how you would have it costumed, how you would want the lights, what type of a theater that you would put it in. You get to take this piece of work like you are the director and make it your own and write all about it. And we show you how to do all this. You don't have to have a lot of theater experience. You really don't have to have any theater experience. It could help, but you don't need it. We will show you how to do it. We have a way of breaking you in very easily, and if you've got stage fright, don't worry about it. We'll make you feel very, very comfortable. We've been doing it for many, many years, and if you are willing to be brave enough to face your fears and take that class, I promise you, we will guide you through it. You will have a good time. I can even make that promise. You will have a good time. If you have any doubts, go find my student, Diana Aguilar, and talk to her about it. She was very nervous coming in. She laughs louder in class than anybody, all the rest of the students. She's having a great time in there. Go talk to some of the students. They will let you know. Don't let fear talk you out of it. We got something pretty cool that we do. We go to New York. And there's just the New York slide right there. It's on the screen there. We go to New York, and here is pictures of last year's class. Ripley Greer Studio. This is where all the Broadway shows rehearse. They go to that studio. You never know what actors you're going to see walking in or out of there. It's a huge rehearsal building, and we take 3 days of master classes in that building. And the picture right next to it, everybody's in Central Park with the New York cityscape behind us. We went and saw, we go see some Broadway shows, actually on Broadway. We check them out, and there's a picture of us all at a Broadway show in front of the Statue of Liberty in Central Park at the famous, they call it the Friends Fountain, the Bethesda Fountain, but if you watch Friends, you may have seen that fountain on there. It's a great trip. We go every year, and just a fantastic time. The first couple times, I really liked to go for me. It was like the first time I'd never been to New York, and I was, wow, this is incredible. Now, I really love to go and to watch the students experience it for the first time. That's my favorite thing, is just watching that I can go back and like experience it the first time vicariously, watching them look down from the Empire State Building, look up at the Statue of Liberty, and everything that they see. I love taking them to New York. So, some of the things that you will walk away for, the understanding cultural, historical, and social context of theater, exploring world theater tradition and practices, developing skills in acting, directing, designing, experimenting with performance techniques and styles, creating, presenting original theater performances, just like our group is going to do next week, refining technical production skills, including lighting, sound, set, costume design. You may be saying, I don't have any skills in lighting, sound, set, and costume design. Yeah, but that's why you come and refine them. We give them to you. And analyze live performances. That's another thing we do, is we go see live performances. And we check them out. And they're a lot of fun, and we go see them together. And so it's, come on out, join us. Like, really, I promise you, you will not regret it. And now, Miss Donnelly.
Hello, good evening. Well, I'm Miss Donnelly, and I teach 3 areas of the IB program. I teach IB English Year 2, Theory of Knowledge Year 2, and the Extended Essay. These are really 3 of the cornerstone components of the program. They're not just subjects. or requirements, but they are opportunities to grow, to think deeply, and to develop skills that will serve students well beyond high school. Let's start with IB English. This course isn't about memorizing content, simply analyzing text, reading, or writing. It's a transformative experience that will help you grow as a thinker, communicator, and global citizen. It's about learning how to communicate ideas clearly, critically, and creatively. Students explore literature and media from diverse cultures and perspectives, developing skills in critical thinking, analysis, and effective communication. Every day, students explore literature through engagement and discussion, close reading, debates, Socratic seminars, written responses. The list goes on. Students collaborate to deepen their understanding of literature and others' cultural point of view. It's a really important part of IB English. And the class really becomes a community of learners and thinkers and even teachers. As a teacher in IB, I'm still learning how to interact with the program, with the content, and find new and interesting ways to look at literature. What makes it very unique is its focus on language and how it shapes our world through discussion, interpretation, and inquiry, which is one of my favorite IB profile learner traits. It teaches students to read between the lines, understand different viewpoints, express themselves confidently, whether it's unpacking a poem by Kendrick Lamar, or analyzing a global issue through media like a graphic novel. Students developing the ability to approach complex texts and ideas with precision and insight. Skills that are invaluable in any field or study. Yes, IB English requires work, there's effort. These are my big three. Presence, you gotta be there in class, ready to learn. You gotta participate, you gotta talk when I ask you to talk. You gotta listen when I ask you to listen, and write when I ask you to write. You just gotta do it. You learn these skills through repetition, through doing, through trying, getting feedback, and trying again. You'll read novels, dramatic plays, poetry, lyrical poetry, narrative poetry, nonfiction, comic books, and you will write. But don't worry, the workload is carefully constructed to build your skills step by step and designed to challenge you, but not overwhelm you. There's always support available for those who ask for it, and let me assure you, perfection is not required. Speaking of the workload, classwork, as you can tell, is pretty much the bulk of the class. There's analysis, discussion, writing, reading. It's the priority of each class. Classwork assignments are created with the mindset to be mostly achieved and completed during class time. At times, students will be required to complete some aspect of classwork at home if they run out of time, but rarely will analysis homework be assigned 100% at home. You know, that's always a top question I get about IB, how much homework will I have? Mostly you'll be reading, and to me that's not homework, that's just fun. Reading is fun. Reading's fun. Laugh at me. And of course we have assessments. Right now my IB Year 2 class is working on their HL essay, and in May they will be completing their external exams. Here's a general breakdown. The HL essay is open inquiry into some aspect of a text that we've studied in class. Paper 1, another literary analysis, but from a text they haven't seen, and then paper 2 is a comparative lit class. And as I said, I already said that. Classwork is designed to build these skills to be used during assessments. We do lots of practice exams in class for all of these, so it's not just drop in a student in a seat and try to write an essay in an hour. We do that in class all the time to build these skills. Here are my stats from last year. I've been teaching IB English. This is my 3rd year, but my 1st year and my 2nd year, I moved up, grew with my students. I taught them Year 1 and then moved with them. They were probably sick of me by the end of their senior year. They saw me all the time, but 65% of them passed. And of the people that did not pass, they were very close. They were like a point away that just didn't quite make it. But I was still very proud of all of them. And then Theory of Knowledge, 100% of my students passed. I co-taught this class with Mr. Hutchinson, and TOK, Theory of Knowledge. If you had asked me a few years ago, I had no idea what that meant, and sometimes I still don't. But I teach it, and if I could teach it, you could take it. It's very unique. It's all about how you know what you know and why you know it. They reflect on the ways of knowing, like reason, emotion, and language, and areas of knowledge, history, math, the arts, natural, and human sciences, and it helps students connect their learning across all the disciplines. Each IB course has TOK integration in it, and it's really fun. You can come see us in the back, the long table in the back. We have a bunch of knowledge questions to challenge you guys' thinking. It's really fun. Things like, is all knowledge subjective? And how do cultural perspectives shape our understanding of truth? And then finally, I don't have a slide for it, but the extended essay. People might not like that. It's a 4,000-word essay, and students get to really take ownership of their learning. They get to choose whatever they want to write about, pretty much, and write an essay. They get to research into it using their inquiry skills developed in all of their classes, and explore a subject they're really passionate about. Whether they're writing about the physics of black holes or symbolism in Shakespeare or the ethics of artificial intelligence, the extended essay cultivates skills like self-discipline, time management, and the abilities to sustain a well-reasoned argument. Skills that are essential for success in university and beyond. Lastly, I want to say before I invite my year ones and my year two to the microphone, to every student here, I want to say this: you are capable of succeeding in any IB course you take. You gotta try, you just gotta do it. You will not only meet the challenges of these courses, but you'll surpass them and surprise yourself while doing so. You'll really grow in ways you would not have imagined, and you'll leave this program not just with a diploma, but the skills and the mindset to thrive in whatever path you choose. And with that, Mrs. Kingsbury.
Hi everyone, I'm really excited to get to talk to you guys about IB English, CAS, and TOK, and why these three concepts, or these course concepts, are so important to your child's learning. When I think about the most successful people that I know, it's not their degrees or their resumes that stand out. It's their ability to ask the right questions, to connect with others, and tackle challenges with confidence. And that is exactly what those three courses will teach our children to do. They build the skills that will shape adaptable thinkers, compassionate leaders, and lifelong learners. In IB English Year 1, students develop these skills by engaging deeply with literature from around the world. They explore fields of inquiry like power, politics, and justice in Animal Farm, gender identity in Their Eyes Were Watching God, and ethics and moral dilemmas in Antigone. These topics encourage students to ask critical questions about the world, like how is power maintained or abused? How does identity shape our experiences? What responsibilities do we have in the face of injustice? By analyzing these texts and participating in class discussions, students gain critical thinking and communication skills. They learn to articulate complex ideas, listen with empathy, and respond thoughtfully to different perspectives. These discussions don't just stay within the classroom, though. They foster confidence and collaboration skills that are essential and meaningful for professional and personal relationships. Then there's the CAS program, the Creativity, Activity, and Service program, which is all about stepping out into the real world and developing adaptability, leadership, and problem-solving skills. Students engage in a variety of experiences that challenge them to grow. Projects like sustainable tie-dyeing, allowing students to combine their artistic expression with a global awareness of environmental issues. Students will take on physical challenges like hiking and tennis, learning resilience and the importance of setting personal fitness goals. And beyond that, beyond the local initiatives, students are working to expand the CAS program with the dream of organizing even larger trips, like traveling to Edinburgh, Scotland, to participate in global service projects and deepen their cultural understanding. Finally, there's TOK, or Theory of Knowledge. This is the heart of the IB program and the cornerstone of building intellectual curiosity, ethical reasoning, and open-mindedness. In TOK Year 1, students begin to know about the TOK exhibition. This is where they select a knowledge question from one of the field's inquiries shown. And questions like, how does perspective shape our understanding of knowledge? And they end up connecting these questions to 3 real-world objects. This activity helps students develop the ability to connect their abstract concepts to tangible, real-world applications, fostering skills like critical analysis and the ability to think deeply about the way knowledge is created, communicated, and challenged. In Year 1, they're also introduced to the extended essay, and they'll begin brainstorming for their research paper on a topic that they are passionate about. Through that process, they will develop research, time management, and self-discipline, as well as the ability to explore a question independently. These are key skills for success in higher education. These 3 components of the IB program form a trifecta of growth for your student. They ensure that students leave the program not only with the academic achievements, but also with the confidence, compassion, and problem-solving skills to make meaningful contributions to their community and to the world. These are skills that will carry them forward, not just into their careers or into their universities, but into lives filled with purpose, adaptability, and global understanding. Thank you so much. I'm going to introduce Sam back up to you. Thank you.
Wow, all I can say is that if I was currently a student at the school, I would want to take every single one of these courses. I am so proud of all of our teachers, and it truly is a wonderful and accessible experience. So we are going to take some time now where we are all going to go to our booths, and we're going to take just about 20 minutes for you guys to come and interact with us and ask us questions and learn a little bit more. But don't leave after that. We have some current students and some recent graduates that are going to come up and talk to you guys after about 20 minutes as well. Okay? And after that, we have some treats for everybody on your way out to enjoy and to thank you guys for coming. Okay? So about 20 minutes, and I'll give you guys a warning when we're about to come back up. Thank you. I'll wait for the music. I don't want to destroy this. Alright, perfect. So, up here we have some of our lovely current IB students. You may have been able to speak to them throughout previous parts of the night, but without further ado, I'm going to introduce up to the podium Diana Aguilar, one of our juniors.
Hello, wow, okay. Hello, my name is Diana Aguilar, and I am a current junior and member of the Full IB program at SGBA. So, although IB does have a reputation for having challenging courses, I would argue that the benefits outweigh the cons. For example, one benefit that really stuck out to me is how well IB classes prepare you for college. And I know you've probably heard this before, but that's because it's true. These classes teach students how to effectively manage their time, as well as gaining strong critical thinking skills, which are so important for college. These skills definitely helped me a lot when I was taking college classes by giving me the tools to manage the heavy workload on top of my other responsibilities. So if you want to get a feel for college, then I would so recommend taking IB. Not only that, but IB looks really good when you're transferred for college. The reason for this is because universities here in the US know that students who take IB classes are more likely to do well because, like I said, they have the skill sets ready to do well in them. In other words, IB students are more likely to succeed in universities. Finally, here at SGBA, many of the IB teachers are super sweet and super caring, such as Mrs. Hudson and Mr. Tennant, the IB math and theater teacher, who have both genuinely helped me understand their respective courses. However, all the IB teachers here are super caring and super welcoming and will be sure to help make sure that you succeed in their classes. So I ask that you try something new, take a risk, and improve yourself. Join IB. If you have any questions about a student taking full IB, then I'm more than happy to answer them. Thank you. I'd like to be introducing Sienna.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sienna Odebami, and I'm currently a junior here at SJVA participating in the Full IB program. And to be completely honest, I joined it because that's just what you're supposed to do. You take all the honors classes, you take that first AP World History, and then you're here. And that meant I had really no idea what the program would be like, so I got here on the first day, and I was terrified. Because you hear like, wait, math has an essay? Why is it 12 pages? Oh my God. But then, I've been in a couple months now, and I can say that the staff and teachers participating and helping us in the IB department truly care, and that they have pushed me outside of my comfort zone and just opened me up to a lot of great opportunities that I never would have had before if I hadn't joined and I hadn't stuck through and kept going. And I would like to thank all of them, just thank you all right now. But I want to go in depth with just one, Mr. Tennant. Mr. Tennant is the IB theater class teacher, and it is an experience, very unique if you've had it before. But if you go into it with an open mind and the drive to create, it really is something you will come out just loving. My class right now is currently in the last week of prep for our short performance, which is a play that we're doing, the 5 of us, that we will then videotape and send to the IB department in like Britain, because you know, pompous is theater. So, but you hear it at the beginning of the year and you really have no idea what to expect. But he gave us the tools and the knowledge that we would need to succeed with it, just like every other teacher in the IB program. We learned how to write an outline, we learned how to brainstorm together, how to work together, how to block and project. And when the project itself came up in December, when we started, it wasn't this looming threat anymore. It was really just something that we have been loving, and it has been just a wonderful experience overall that I thought IB wouldn't be, but it is exactly what IB is. And as long as you are willing to put in the work and get past that awkward step of telling your teacher, you have no idea what they're talking about half the time, you open yourself up to just a wonderful group of people and like possibilities. Like we went to New York this year for IB Theater when you auditioned, and I never would have done that before if I hadn't been pushed out of my comfort zone by Mr. Tennant so much. And just big thank you, you know. And it is a community built on the struggle and the fear of every assignment, but the reward that you get at the end is just so worth it. Thank you. Next up is Chloe.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Chloe. I joined IB because it's a very rigorous program and I really wanted to challenge myself. I knew this program would be good for me and like good looking for college, you know. Like that's why many people join it. Because of how hard the course is, when you go into college, it's a lot easier because the IB program helps you balance your responsibilities with your personal time and just all the other homework. If you're going, especially if you're going into a harder major, this is a good chance to be able to like prepare yourself for the coursework. For example, me, I'm going into nursing, so it's a good idea for me to join this because it's pretty hard. A lot of people believe that to be in IB, you have to be a genius to succeed, but it's not true. It's more about dedication and hard working and managing your time efficiently. It also helps you develop your critical thinking skills. IB has really helped me do this by doing open-based inquiry, and we are able to do our own projects and our IAs, which we can talk about basically anything we want, which really gets students exploring and learning, and it makes it fun, you know? For example, my EE, which is our 4,000 word essay that we have to write, I get to write about Little Woman, which is a book that I'm very passionate about and I'm very interested in. So I want to do it more because I like it. So, also CAS, it helps students like experience or go into things that they're interested in and make it a CAS experience. I just did poetry, and you could really do anything and make it into a CAS experience and just write a reflection. It's really easy. It implements development of personal interests, and it really starts a community. We all work together to create CAS projects, and you're really a team in IB. You accomplish your goals together, as well as there's a lot of support. We have our wonderful teachers here today, and they have like CAS lunches for us where we come in and they talk about our assignments, and IB enrichment, which is not just like normal enrichment where if you have a D or F, you have to go. If they assign you to it, you have to go just to help and support you with your assignments, which I feel like is really good. A lot of people hate it, but it's good. A big perk is why a lot of people go is about field trips. So we have CAS trips that we're able to plan, and we're going to Catalina this year, and we went to New York, which was really fun. But it's just a huge motivator for students to do good in their classes and stuff. And it's really fun. You get to experience so many different cultures and learn and connect with other people that you wouldn't connect with. Like in New York, there's so many people that come from around the world that you wouldn't have got to know if you didn't do the IB program. While it's very rigorous, as long as you're dedicated and don't procrastinate, I think you could do it, and I would really recommend the program. Thank you. Ms. Lazier will talk.
Thank you guys, wonderful students. We have so many wonderful students in our program. They really make it what it is. Next up, we have a little bit of information from one of our instructional aides that's working with us this year. Mr. Martinez is going to come up and talk about how this can positively impact college-going life.
Hello everybody, my name is Brandon Martinez. I'm the IB Biology Instructional Aide. I also work with all the students, all the full IB students. I'm there during their lunches, their CAS lunches, and also help them with any of the other classes that they need. If they need help, they usually come to me, they send me a lot of emails. That's what I know. But I want to talk about what are the benefits of IB. One of the big benefits of IB that we know is college. How is it going to help my student get into college? Well, a full IB diploma, as well as IB certificates, there's different percentages that they get when it comes to getting accepted into college than a student that did not take IB. Some of these percentages are very high. I personally went to UCR, I'll talk about that in a little bit. A full IB diploma, to be able to get accepted into UCR, it's 100%. UCR accepts 100% of applicants that have an IB diploma, as well as many other Cal States around us, such as CSUSB, Cal State Fullerton, and Cal State San Marcos. So if your student has a full IB diploma, there's a 100% chance that they'll get in, and that's based off the previous 40,000 applicants that have applied there. But what if you don't want your student to go to a college nearby, like UCR or Cal State San Bernardino? You want them to go to the top 25 schools, top 10 schools in the nation. They also get different percentages. The closest one to us, Stanford. Stanford has a 4% acceptance rate for the general public. So there's a 4% chance that your student will be able to go in. If they're a full IB student, that 4% skyrockets up to 17.8%, which is a lot different. That's not adding a couple of percentages, it's multiplying it. Harvard is another big one. Harvard has a 5% chance of getting in. If your student's a full IB diploma, that multiplies by 3 and it goes up to 15%. Caltech, another one that's close by, 8% to get in. If their full IB diploma, it goes up to 30%. And some of these jumps aren't just little, like from 5, 4 to 20, some would say. University of Chicago has an 8% admission rate. But if they're a full IB student, that 8% goes all the way up to 62%. So more than a 1 in 2 chance of getting accepted into those colleges. Now, okay, my student's accepted. Now they're in college. Now they're going to college. How do I know they're going to succeed? Students that have graduated with an IB certificate, which is not full IB, with an IB certificate have an 89% chance of graduating college. They have an 89% graduation rate. As well as through the IB program, through the IB classes that they have, there is college credit available. So many schools are able to take college credit from these classes. So if they pass IB biology, like I did, I passed IB biology, and I passed the final test and everything. I was able to skip, I believe, 2 of my classes that I had to take, biology 101, 102, and then 115. So that also helps. Now, I want to delve a little bit into my own educational journey, since I just graduated college. About a year ago, I graduated college, but I'm going to go far back. I'm going to go about 10 years back. So 10 years ago, I was in 8th grade. I was in the Hemet district, and I was an 8th grader, and I didn't really care about school or anything, and I want to play soccer. I wanted soccer, I did soccer, that's all I did. I played for the soccer team, I was a soccer captain over there. I love playing soccer, that's my only thought. One day, after soccer practice, my cousin picked me up and we headed home. On the way home, our vehicle was struck by another vehicle that was trying to get out of the lane too quick. Our car flipped over multiple times. I had a seatbelt and everything. But somehow I ripped out the seatbelt because I was tall and a little big back then too. But I fell out the seatbelt, somehow went out the window because I had the windows down, and it was a terrible accident. Everybody was fine in the car except me. I was outside on the pavement with severe head trauma. The ambulance came, they picked me up. My cousin who was driving, couldn't even come to the car to see how I was because of how badly I was. They took me to the hospital the whole time. I was knocked out. Once I was arrived back in the hospital, they said I was delirious. I didn't know anything. I was screaming. I was all over the place. I had to get 60 staples in my head as well as stitches inside my head. I usually keep my hair long. When I cut it short, the students always say that I'm balding because I have scars on my head from that incident. But it was a terrible accident, and because of that accident, I lost a lot of my memory before the 8th grade. I lost a lot of memory about my friends, as well as my memories really spotty afterwards, and that really affected my education. I wasn't able to finish the 8th grade. They had to take me out of school. I had to go, and they switched me over to the San Jacinto district, and I started attending San Jacinto High. And all of that just culminated into a lot of other stuff that I had to deal with. I was very shy. I'm still a little shy. I still have trouble speaking in front of everybody. When speaking to everybody, saying hi, I still have my problems with that. And that all stems from that one accident that I had. But when I went to San Jacinto High, my whole freshman year, I just flunked. I did terrible. I had B's, C's. I had a very terrible time. New environment, new schools, I had everything against me. But when sophomore year came, same thing happened again. I had a terrible time. I didn't have a lot of family support. I didn't have a lot of support from friends because I had no friends. I had to start all over again. But I still remember, this is a little bit of credit to my AVID background. My AVID teacher had sat with me and helped me pick my classes. I struggled in a lot of classes, but in my biology and my chemistry class, I was doing really well. I had 104% in my chemistry class, while most of my other students were struggling because that was one of the hardest classes that they were giving at the time. And they really pushed me to join IB Bio. I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I know it's a little harder, but I want to take a science. I don't want to go into physical science. I like life sciences. So I'll do IB Bio. I started in IB Bio. About 2 weeks later, I met a bunch of friends that I really liked in IB Biology, and I ended up switching into IB English as well as IB Math. So next thing you know, I was taking a couple IB classes that were much harder, and I thought, I was a terrible student the past 2 years. How can I go and join these classes and be better, right? But I did. The best teacher that I ever met was my IB biology teacher. He inspired me to become a biology teacher, which is now my goal. I hope to be a science teacher or a chemistry teacher. And it was all because of him. I'm never going to forget that teacher. My IB English teacher really worked with me to be able to get me out of my shell, to be able to get me to talk to other people. And I did really well. From going to a C and D student my freshman and sophomore year, I had all A's and 1B in my junior year of high school. Then my senior year of high school, I was able to go and do better. And do better than the other ones were. But I did really good my junior year. And then college came. And I didn't know what I wanted to do for college. I know I wanted to go to college. I know I wanted to be a teacher. I know I wanted to work and get a science degree. I just didn't know how I was going to do it. So I worked with part of my IB teachers as well as my IB teachers, and we made a plan. I applied to as many places as I could, but because I didn't have full IB and I wasn't and I still had my grades from before, the plan was to go to community college. So I did start at community college, I went to MSJC, but what I learned when I was in my first year of community college, I took 5 classes, I took 3 STEM classes, and I took 2 in English, and I believe like a history class. But I was taking 5 classes, I wanted to take as many as I could because I knew I could do the work. I learned that during my junior and my senior year. Every day I'd go to my IB classes, they were tough, but I knew I had the effort in me to be able to get through them. I was taking those 5 classes and realized that they weren't that bad. I was able to take all 5 classes, get pretty good grades, attend all my classes, and still have a lot of downtime. And I felt bad being at home. So what I wanted to do was work on what my plan B was. My plan B was to go into dentistry if education didn't work. So I joined a trade. I ended up joining a trade while I was taking my 5 classes in my freshman year, and I went to dental school. I became a dental assistant in about 8 months while finishing my first year of college, and I got my first official job as a dental assistant while working. And I was getting paid very well, and I was able to pay for some of my community college. Now, when I was transferring out, I was looking for places to transfer out, and everywhere I went, I wasn't able to get financial aid. So I knew I had to work. I knew I had to do something. I knew how to figure something out. So I started my own business. I started my own business when I was 19. I had money saved up from working as a dental assistant, and I bought a bunch of tables, jumpers, chairs, and I said, I can do this on the weekend. So after school, after college, after work at the dental office at 6 p.m., I'd go get cards. I printed up a bunch of cards from Staples. I'd go and I put them on different parking lots. I put them on little cards. Then later on I'd get phone calls, hey, you got jumpers, you got this, table chairs. And then I started making money on the weekends. Then I went to UCR and realized I'm going to need to sell a lot of jumpers, rent a lot of jumpers to be able to afford it. So I kept working. At one point, I ended up having 5 jobs, which was last year and the year before that. And the year before that. I ended up working at the dental assistant. I was an avid tutor here for 3 years, and I was an avid lead at another site for 5 years. And then I worked as an in-home support services. So I'd go and I used some of the dental assistant stuff that I knew. I'd go to older people's houses and help them through hospice and through care whenever I had chance after like 8 or 9 o'clock. And then I did my jumpers on the weekend. But after all that, I still went to college full time. I still took my 15 units, as many classes as I could, because I wanted to get out as fast as I can. And I was able to finish college in the 6 years since I did take community college. And all of that, I put all of that effort, all that work, I have to attribute to my high school. That big change in high school that I was able to. I knew I could do the work because it was a lot of work and I had people around me. And after in college, I knew I was able to do it because of that. Well, it was more work in high school, and I still had people around me after high school. And that's my educational journey through IB. Thank you. Now I'm going to bring the postgraduates that are going to come and talk about it.
Hello, my name is Malay Daniels and I graduated with the class of 2023, so 2 years ago. I took IB English, Theater, History, and I wasn't full IB like the rest of our speakers, but I'm proud to say I did graduate and pass all of my IB classes. The International Baccalaureate program pushed me to be the student that I am today. I am now an undergraduate at the University of California, Riverside, studying English. These courses challenged me and caused a new way of thinking as I can now understand different perspectives. Before it was very much, it's my way or the highway. Although IB courses seem to be difficult, they truly aren't. You are given every single thing you need and the support from all your teachers and all the staff that works here. Our, educate, our educators are extremely supportive and helpful as they were there every single step of the way with me. They even encouraged me to write about things that interested me that other people thought were weird. Like in history, I got to talk about all the events with hysteria and got to write a whole essay about the Cold War. And then even English, I was allowed to argue with these famous authors that I thought they were wrong and that they didn't truly encompass a character. I am truly so grateful for these educators and respect them so much. With IB, I also got the opportunity to go on the New York theater trip. This trip created such a great opportunity as I got to meet people from all over the world, whether it was from Canada or someone just somewhere in like LA. You got to connect with these students that are all going through the same things as you are. And with the New York trip, you are in a conference where you have all of these theater educators teaching you all these different things that can help you take those and put them into every other IB course. Whether it's being able to reflect automatically or come up with a new solution without thinking of all the other different things going on. So this trip truly just helped you adapt to a new way of learning. One thing that people don't discuss enough in IB is how much you connect with your classmates. You are put in a course with the same people for 2 years, and there's no way you can't connect with them. It's one of those things where you guys are all doing the same steps at every point, and if someone falls behind, you help them catch up. If you fall behind, ask for help, and your peers will be right there next to you to support you. And so there were some people that were in my class that I never would have spoken to if I wasn't in the same course, whether they were viewed as a popular kids or anything like that. You are all at the same levels and no one's smarter than the other. You're at the exact same point in your education. And I really think that people should consider taking IB courses. If they don't want to do full IB, take a few of the ones that really interest you because everything helps. You really shouldn't write off IB education just because you heard a rumor that it's too hard or that you're not smart enough to do it. You are there, and if you have a good support system and put all of your effort into it, you're gonna do great. That's all I have. Thank you.
Oh, I'm a little nervous. Hello everyone, I am Xavier Aquino and I graduated with a full IB diploma with the class of 2024. I had so many great experiences for the past 2 years in this IB program where I got to meet many new people and do new things that I thought I'd never be able to do in my life. A few of the greatest experiences I had the privilege of doing was traveling to so many different places to learn more about the subjects that come with this school's IB curriculum. For example, my class went to Boston, Massachusetts in the summer of 2023 to expand our knowledge of our task fulfillment, which stands for creativity, activity, and service. There we got to meet a lot of other IB students from all over the world, and even a class that was nearby in West Valley, we learned how to create CAS experiences that help us reflect on our own skills and our own selves. These experiences could be anything from helping the community to being creative in times that are problems to solve. And for instance, when my class was up in Boston, we had a period of free time. So we went to their gym on their campus, but they didn't have a volleyball net, so we decided to use our lanyards and tie it together just to play. Aside from traveling, the most important thing I loved about this program is how it created a sense of community with my fellow classmates. My class size was about 20 or so students, so that meant we were all in it together. Through struggle with the heavy course load and through all the fun times we've had together on our trips and events, we made it out together, ready to take on our futures. This all wouldn't have happened if it wasn't thanks to our wonderful IB teachers. They all helped guide and foster our sense of community and learning to help us be ready for the future and strive for the better. So really quickly, I would like to thank my teachers who have helped everyone make it this far. So thank you, Ms. Donnelly, Mr. Hutchinson, Ms. Hudson, Ms. Lazier, Mr. Tennant, Ms. Aguilar, and our dearly missed Mr. Falgu, who is now working in Columbus, Ohio.
Hello everybody, my name is Sophia and I graduated with the IB diploma in 2023. I can confidently say that the IB program was one of the most challenging yet rewarding experiences I've been through. Yes, the hours of studying, essay writing, and assignments were intense, but the program also brought much more than academics. One of the highlights of my IB journey was the unique opportunity to go on various trips. For instance, the New York theater trip was unforgettable. Being surrounded by students from different backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences gave me new insight, not just into theater, but also the diversity of people and their stories. I got the opportunity to form lifelong bonds with classmates at the Palo Retreat and experience real-world applications of our lessons in Catalina. These trips weren't just fun adventures, they gave me a new perspective, allowed me to learn alongside others, and reminded me that education goes way beyond just the textbooks. Through these experiences, the daily balancing and management of deadlines, studying, and time with friends, I have developed critical skills like time management, perseverance, and adaptability. These skills are still what I rely on today. And now I'm an undergraduate student at the University of California, Riverside, studying neuroscience. I've been able to carry these lessons forward, and the preparation and resilience that I've gained through the IB program helped me skip introductory classes and thrive through fast-paced college environments. So to those of you in the IB program now, or considering it, embrace those challenges to work hard and put your will into it. Not only will it open doors for you in your future, but also shapes who you are now.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Tanya Jahari. I'm going to keep it short just because I know we've been talking actually for the past 2 hours. So I just wanted to say I'm the IB advisor here at SGVA now, and I also graduated with 2023 class with the full IB diploma. I just wanted to, the overall message out of anything here tonight is that there is a support system at the end of the day, and nothing is too hard to accomplish, no matter how challenging it is, even math and science. There's a lot of bad rep, and people leave and they tell you it's not worth it, or it was too much work, or you're sitting and writing essays all day. Yes, it's part of the work, and yes, it's something you gotta do, but there's a huge amount of experiences that you go through that aren't just the trips. It's even the stuff that happens within the classroom. All together, whatever, even in your daily life, just stepping on campus and entering any classroom you go into, you live it. You're not only just trying to survive through the entire experience, but you're also living within the moment. I can give it to you from theater. I walked into theater and I heard a lot of people saying it's just essays and you're not really acting and you're not doing what you. I took musical theater for 6 years, and I went into it and I was like, well, if I'm not going to be acting and I'm not going to be singing and all this stuff, then what's the point of taking theater? Why are they calling it theater if you're sitting and writing 15-page essays? But I mean, my favorite essay of the entire thing is called Director's Notebook. I believe it changed now, title-wise. But you basically become the director, and whether it's what they wear or how they speak or what they do,
you're basically, you're taking that director's position, whether it's like, if you think of it as a play or a movie, you're them now, and you're officially you're stepping into someone else's shoes for a second. And I hear that from a lot of kids nowadays, where it's just like, for one day, I just don't want to be me, and I just want to live as someone else. And I think theater in itself gives you that chance of just, let me look into other perspectives. And in that, with that word perspective, probably the most important word you'll learn in IB. My favorite class, which a lot of people don't really talk about, and it's genuinely because it's not offered as much as long if you're not taking IB. Theory of knowledge, probably my favorite class I ever took. It really is just talking about perspective altogether. First day, and I'll keep talking about this subject, and a lot of you have already heard this story, but it's probably my favorite story to tell. Walked in first day, and yes, as I said, formerly Mr. Fabu was here, and his first question was, what color is this chair? And at the time, it was maroon. And of course, I raised my hand and I said, maroon. And he said, okay, but if a tiger, crawled in here and looked at it and said, it's green, who's right? And I didn't know what to say. And I'm the type of person who always raises their hand, is like, I know what to say, and I want to learn. I was speechless, I just didn't know what to say. And he said, and if you're not right and the tiger's not right, then who's right and who's wrong? And then if you don't know who's right and who's wrong, then what's the point of life? And I was stunned. I didn't know what to say. I was just like, okay, okay. And so I came in after class and I said, what was the right answer? And at the end of the day, he said there is no right answer. And it really gave me perspective. And it brought it into everything that you do nowadays, where it's where they say whatever action you take or whatever choice you make, there's consequences. Which at the end of the day means there is no right answer. There's just positives and negatives that come with each decision you make. And I want a lot of kids to know that there isn't one right path to take. And I really loved IB because it not only showed you the rights you're making, but you're taking those mistakes and turning them into rights. Those are still, your answers could be the mistakes you make. And they really take that into perspective, and I really enjoy that. The essay you're writing isn't just, here's the answer, now explain how you got this answer, and that's it. It's, this is the answer I got, here are the mistakes I made to get to that answer, and this is why it helped me, and this is how I'm going to become a better person. Not a better student, a better person. And I really appreciated that within this program. And it goes all the way down to science. I did not like science. I took each test in IB Bio, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to fail, this isn't going to go well. But the second I got something right, I was on top of the world. I was like, okay, I did it, I can do it, now let's go on to the next one. And it's amazing, and now I'm trying to become a doctor. And so, you just take these little mistakes and they might end up being your answers. Every small coincidence, every small mistake, anything that happens in your life, it happens for a reason. And so, within IB in itself, I just really want to push the idea that nothing is impossible. It really isn't. And there's no idea of not being smart enough. It's how much work are you willing to put in? And how much thought are you able to step out of that box and know, even though I don't know anything, or you might say, even though I don't know everything, I'm still willing to learn to get to that point where I know as much as I possibly can, and I'm willing to learn more. So anyways, I won't keep talking at you. I just wanted to thank everyone from here tonight, parents, just whoever was able to come, and then obviously the staff members. All this wouldn't be possible without anyone in the back. So I just want to say thank you, and enjoy the rest of your night. Here is the video. Okay, so just one more thank you to everybody for coming and staying. And I do just want to give an extra shout out to Tanya, who has done so much work planning this whole thing. She really is the one who spearheaded it all, made the decorations, planned all of this. So she's thanking us, but Tanya, we are thanking you. And her right-hand woman, Amalia, as well, was so helpful in all of this planning. So thank you guys for coming. Don't forget, join us on your way out. We have water and some treats for you all to thank you guys for being here. Have a good night.